Konnichiwa, minasan. O genki desu ka? Welcome to the intermediate course of my channel. Let's learn Japanese with Eric. If you have minimal background in the Japanese language or have limited knowledge of Japanese particles, adjective, and basic verb conjugation, or how Japanese sentences are put together, please review the playlist of the basic course, which covers lessons 1 to 31, and watch the video you need makeup lessons on. Otherwise, let's begin. Hajimemashou. This lesson is the opposite of the previous lesson, which was on asking and giving permission. In this lesson, you will learn how to express prohibitions. In other words, how to say, you're not allowed to do, or you may not do so, or you must not do. The formula for this is to use the te form of the verb plus wa ikemasen, tewa ikemasen, and plain form is tewa ikenai, tewa ikenai. Note that the wa used here is the particle wa, which is spelled using the hiragana ha. Its literal meaning is doing so you can't go. Therefore, it means you must not do so. It's a prohibition. Tewa ikemasen or tewa ikenai also has variations, which involve substitutes to ikemasen. Sometimes you'll hear tewa komarimas, which means if you do, I will be troubled. Plain form for this is tewa komaru. You will also sometimes hear tewa dame desu, which means if you do, it's bad. Plain form is tewa dame or tewa dameda. These are all prohibitions, meaning you're not allowed to do, you may not do, or you must not do. If you recall the 10 basic verb conjugations, the conjugation we use for prohibition is the te form of the verb. Let's do a quick review of how to make the te form. There are 3 major categories of Japanese verbs: the category 1 or root-dropping verbs, the category 2 or last hiragana changing verbs, and category 3 verbs or the irregular verbs. For a more detailed explanation of all the basic verb conjugations, please review lessons 26 to 30 of our English playlist. We will also be using verbs introduced in these lessons in our examples here. To make the te form of a root-dropping verb, drop the ru and add te. For example, the verb taberu, which means to eat. Drop the ru, add te to form tabete, which is the te form. For last hiragana changing verbs, the last hiragana of the dictionary form is not dropped, but changes to something else. These are the 9 kinds of endings: kugusu, bumunu, rutsu-u. To make the te form, ku becomes ite, gu becomes ide, su becomes shite, bumunu all turn to nde, and rutsu-u all become utte. For conjugating category 2 verbs, it's the verb ending you need to pay attention to and what it turns into. As for the 5 commonly used irregular verbs, here are their te forms. For suru, it's shite. For kuru, it's kite. Te form for iku is itte. Te form for aru is atte. And the te form for da is de. The de is used when asking permissions for nouns and na-adjectives. We'll have examples of these later. We will convert many of the sentences in the previous lesson on permission into prohibition. You're not allowed to eat sushi. To eat is taberu, category 1 root-dropping verb. In Japanese, sushi wo tabetewa ikemasen. Sushi wo tabetewa ikemasen. If you need to review Japanese sentence construction and how to use Japanese particles, such as the wo that you see here, please watch lessons 22 to 24 of the English playlist. You're not allowed to watch TV. To watch is miru, also a root-dropping verb. In Japanese, using plain style, terebi wo mite wa ikenai. Terebi wo mite wa ikenai. Now let's see examples that use category 2 verbs. You're not allowed to listen to music. To listen is kiku, and music is ongaku. In Japanese, using formal, ongaku wo 聞いてはいけません。音楽を聞いてはいけません。You're not allowed to speak. To speak is 話す。In Japanese, 話してはいけません。話してはいけません。You're not allowed to drink water. To drink is 飲む and water is 水。In Japanese, 水を飲んではいけません。水を飲んではいけません。You're not allowed to go home now. To go home is 帰る and now is 今。In Japanese, 今帰ってはいけません。今帰ってはいけません。You're not allowed to use the phone. To use is 使う and phone is 電話。In Japanese, 電話を使ってはいけません。電話を使ってはいけません。Now let's use some Category 3 irregular verbs in our examples. You're not allowed to come to the party. To come is 来る。In Japanese, パーティーに来てはいけません。パーティーに来てはいけません。You're not allowed to go to Tokyo. To go is 行く。In Japanese, 東京に行ってはいけません。東京に行ってはいけません。You're not allowed to do the laundry tonight. To do laundry is 洗濯する。And tonight is 今夜。In Japanese, 今夜は洗濯してはいけません。今夜は洗濯してはいけません。The wa for 今夜 is optional. Now here's an example of using a na adjective. Na adjectives are grammatically nouns, so they use the verb da, whose te form is de. Simple is not allowed. Simple in Japanese is kantan na, a na adjective. In Japanese, kantan de wa ikemasen. Kantan de wa ikemasen. Here's an example of using an e adjective. We have to use the te form of the e adjective. It's not okay if it's expensive. Expensive is takai, and its te form is takakute. In Japanese, takakute wa ikemasen. Takakute wa ikemasen. It's not okay if it's expensive. Now let's practice. I will ask permission, and you give the prohibition. May I open the window? 窓を開けてもいいですか? 窓を開けてもいいですか? No, you're not allowed to open the window. いいえ、窓は開けてはいけません。いいえ、窓は開けてはいけません。Mado can also take the direct object particle wo, but wa here is used for emphasis. May Mary work after school? ミャリさんは学校の後で働いてもいいですか? ミャリさんは学校の後で働いてもいいですか? No, Mary must not work after school. いいえ、ミャリさんは学校の後で働いてはいけません。いいえ、ミャリさんは学校の後で働いてはいけません。May I erase the blackboard? 黒板を消してもいいですか? 黒板を消してもいいですか? No, you may not erase it. いいえ、消してはいけません。いいえ、消してはいけません。May we read the books and magazines here? ここの本と雑誌を読んでもいいですか? ここの本と雑誌を読んでもいいですか? No, you must not read the books and magazines here. Now for the prohibition, let's use ダメ instead of いけません。いいえ、ここの本と雑誌を読んではダメです。いいえ、ここの本と雑誌を読んではダメです。May I wait here? ここで待ってもいいですか? ここで待ってもいいですか? No, you may not wait here. Again, let's use ダメ。いいえ、ここで待ってはダメです。いいえ、ここで待ってはダメです。May I go to the washroom? トイレに行ってもいいですか? トイレに行ってもいいですか? No, you must not go to the washroom. Again, let's use ダメ。いいえ、トイレに行ってはダメです。いいえ、トイレに行ってはダメです。May I sing one more song? もう一曲を歌ってもいいですか? もう一曲を歌ってもいいですか? No, you may not sing one more song. Now let's use 困る in formal style instead of いけません。いいえ、もう一曲を歌っては困ります。いいえ、もう一曲を歌っては困ります。May I clean the room? 部屋を掃除してもいいですか? 部屋を掃除してもいいですか? No, you may not clean the room. Again, let's use 困る this time in plain style. いいえ、部屋を掃除しては困る。いいえ、部屋を掃除しては困る。Let's use an e adjective. Is it alright if it's small? Small is 小さい。小さくてもいいですか? 小さくてもいいですか? No, small isn't alright. Let's use いけない。いいえ、小さくてはいけない。いいえ、小さくてはいけない。Let's use a na adjective. Is it alright if it's inconvenient? Inconvenient is 不便な。不便でもいいですか? 不便でもいいですか? No, inconvenient is not good. Let's use ダメ in place of いけません。いいえ、不便ではダメです。いいえ、不便ではダメです。To summarize, in this lesson, you learned how to express prohibitions by using the te form of the verb plus wa ikemasen, te wa ikemasen, or te wa ikenai in plain style. It means you're not allowed to, you may not do, or you must not do. Variations of this involves changes to ikemasen and includes te wa komarimasu or te wa komaru, which means I'll be troubled if you do, and te wa dame desu, which means it's bad if you do. All these three mean the same thing. You're not allowed to do. These are all prohibitions. Prohibitions can also be used for nouns and na adjectives by using the te form of the verb da, which is de, and also for e adjectives where we use the te form of the e adjective, which is kute. And this ends our lesson on prohibitions. I hope you had fun. See you in the next lesson. Ganbatte kudasai. If you're serious about becoming fluent in Japanese, it's important to practice daily, learn grammar, and build up vocabulary. My whole course is designed to give you a strong basic foundation in the Japanese language that you can build solidly on. So please click like, share, or subscribe, and watch the next video in the series. Nihongo no benkyou ni ganbatte kudasai. じゃあ、またね。